when they asked us all within 24 hours to stand fast. And I think everyone that I was talking to, even for myself, in 24 hours, we were just very hopeful. We were thinking, okay, we've been through this before. In Ecuador especially, we go through stand fasts a lot in terms of natural disasters. And just prior to that, there had been a protest and an uprising in Quito. And so the volunteers had already had an experience of what it was like to stand fast and return to their sites and hold where they were at that time. So I think a lot of us thought that this was just procedure, that in terms of what was happening, this was just a procedural act. We needed to be just going to our sites and just awaiting the next directions, the next directives. It's interesting for me personally. I'm in a relationship with an Ecuadorian, and he lives in Quito. And I was actually at his apartment when we were given the notice to stand fast. So I had, at that time, it was just more like checking in and making sure I was close to where I was. I didn't have to really make any sudden changes. And so I think it was that Sunday, I think it was Sunday for us, March 16th, March 15th or 16th, where we were all just awaiting our directives. And I was sitting watching television with my partner, and I think 10 o'clock rolled around. I had just finished hearing about the stand fast. I think it had only been a 2-hour time difference where we had confirmed everybody was at their sites and they were standing fast. And then 10 o'clock came and I got a phone call from my program manager saying, we're evacuating you.
I found out on Sunday and we were evacuated on Friday. So I had a little bit of time to get ready. I know some people were like, they had to leave the next day. They staggered it throughout the world when people were leaving. So I had a little bit of time, but I had, because I was extending my time, I had written a whole proposal about what I would be doing for my extension. And I had started it, and I had told my teachers that I was coming back, and I told everybody I was coming back next year. You know, all of the Ministry of Education, I said, I'll be back next year. You know, I thought I would be. And the way it happened, all of my cohort had left the last week of February. That was when my cohort was supposed to end, and I was the only one staying behind. So the staff at Peace Corps headquarters didn't have a lot of people left in country. They had me as the only Peace Corps response. And they had about 26 Peace Corps volunteers, 2-year volunteers, to evacuate. So there were 27 of us, I think, altogether. And one of the girls said, Judy, did you see you're leaving Belize? We're like, what are you talking about? You know, we were texting. And it was a whole group text. I think it was a whole group text. Anyway, she said, yeah, it's on the website. That's how I found out. I think it was on Saturday. And I was like, no, I haven't heard anything about it. And she's like, she gives me the link. And sure enough, that banner at the top says, leave, or something that talks about evacuation. So I was like, look at my eyes. You see how big my eyes are? I was like that. I couldn't believe it.
We got the news on the 16th, and then on the 18th is actually when I left village. So we had like a couple days to pack up and leave. Yeah, there was a lot of crying. I cried a lot, and then they started crying a lot. The women started crying, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess they are gonna miss me." Lots of crying, and I feel like they understood though that the virus, and because it was starting to become a big deal at that time. Even in my village, they were just like, "You got to wash your hands." There were health officials coming into the village telling people to wash their hands and stuff like that. So it was starting to become a big deal. So they understood, like, this is why I'm leaving, is because this is a big deal. So they understood, and I probably left saying the wrong thing, but I said, I'm going to come back because I really thought I was going to come back. Like, I'm going to go to the States, quarantine for like a month, and then come back. That's what I was thinking, but that's not the case anymore. So I was just like, don't worry, I'm going to come back, but I don't think I'm going to come back.
Was I had to actually say goodbye to my host family. I remember staying up late the night before, when we were leaving, and staying with my host family, sitting there talking, just being present. And then the following day, when I went to school to say goodbye, they sort of prepared an event with all the kids, and the kids, they were called into the hall by the principal, and then they were like, "Hey, Marco has to leave." And so go to your house, try to find something, tell your parents, see if you can bring them gifts. I didn't understand this. This is all happening in Samoan. I did not personally understand it, but the kids come in and then they get sent down. This is the middle of the school day. And then they come back later. At this time, I'm trying to say, hey, I need to make the best as I can. So whatever prizes I had in my classroom, I would call each group that I would have every day, and then just play like a simple, fun game, and then allow them to say something in English, to just do something, and say goodbye to each group. So I had 8 groups, and just as a way to sort of spend a little bit of time with them. And at the end of the day, they gather there, and then they gather them back there, and they began to sing a song, and I was overwhelmed. I was overtaken. I cried because it was a real profound moment to be up there and have all these kids like just say goodbye, like they were singing and saying goodbye, and that was really special. And that was when I went back to the house, and they picked me up and we left, and then we were taken to the capital, where we stayed there to just waiting for tickets, for airplane tickets for 40, however many volunteers were there. And obviously some of us knew volunteers across the world, and some of them, their evacuation was not like ours. Some of them were like, you can't even go back to go get your entire stuff. Like, you just have to get up and leave. And with us, like, we did have 2 days before we actually flew, because we were waiting to get the tickets, but everybody was together, and
bit early, so I mean, thank God I was actually I was supposed to be in Kiev. I was supposed to be in the capital. So already I had a train arranged to me, and I never canceled it. So it was just a sign. I mean, I don't know. But I was there before other volunteers, and so it was other volunteers as well in Kiev, including newly volunteers that were not even sworn in. You know, they were just got into the country, and so we just started having conversation with them, and just talking to them, and just seeing Kiev for the last time. Yeah, I honestly, during that time, we didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, we did not know what to think. I did not know what to think. I didn't believe that we were actually leaving.
Yeah.
Despite we had to bring our suitcases, like, it was just like, really? We're leaving? So we didn't believe until when they divided us and went to our final hotels, for destinations, and then we were there for 3 days, and then it started to really affect us. Like, this is happening. Like, this is real.